to be able to walk through some of these. You made a comment to Senator Thune earlier saying eventually we're going to have to deal with the issue of debt. What is kind of the warning sign that you look for? And is there an upper limit to the federal debt that we should be watching for? And in your perspective, what are the key signs? Because if you use the word eventually, that would tell me that you don't think it's infinite. What is that upper limit?
Oh, well, I would agree with you. I think there's no single metric that summarizes our overall fiscal situation. But one metric that I do think is useful to keep in mind is the interest burden of the debt. What share of our economy of GDP is going to pay interest on the debt? The higher that gets, the more we find we have to use tax revenue just to pay the interest on the debt. And eventually that can lead to having to curtail other services, other spending, or eventually lead to runaway debt accumulation. That would be an unsustainable path. In a very low interest rate environment like we're in, what we're seeing is that even though the amount of debt relative to the economy has gone up, the interest burden hasn't. So I would keep the interest burden in mind as a metric. Right now it's low, but longer term, we have to make sure that deficits that we run in the federal budget are consistent with stability in that kind of ratio.
I would submit that we have to find an earlier warning sign, because once interest rates start ticking up, in some ways it's too late because you have so much debt that's there and the interest rates begin to tick up. If you find that moment where it's unsustainable, it rapidly gets worse. You made a comment in an interview in 2018 that I want to be able to follow up with you on it. In this particular interview, you said the United States debt path was unsustainable, and that if I had a magic wand, I would raise taxes and cut retirement spending. Do you remember what you meant by that? It was a comment that you made in 2018, and I'm not playing quiz show with you to try to go back and to be able to review that, but I want to know just your perspective in 2018. If you had a magic wand because of unsustainable debt path, I would raise taxes and cut retirement spending.
Well, we've long known that as our population ages and if medical expenses, healthcare costs continue to rise over time at rates faster than the general level of other prices, that there would be increasing shortfalls in both Social Security and Medicare, and that eventually we would need to find ways to address it.